Yeah. Shalom Israel. Peace Israel. Brakat YaHaWah. Brakat YaHaWaShi. Brakat YaHaWah. Brakat YaHaWaShi. Brakat YaHaWah. Brakat YaHaWaShi. BaHaSham Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone, to teach well and rule well, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akim, pushing this truth all over the earth. And to the Akwith listening, quietly listening and learning, Shalom. It's your brother Shema from the Pillars of Benjamin camp here in Toronto with another lesson. And through the spirit and power of YaHaWah BaHaSham YaHaWaShi, the title of this lesson is China blocks poultry imports from a Tyson plant, which is in America, Arkansas, after outbreak, right? And this is on Bloomberg. Came out today. It says here, China Customs said it will suspend imports from a Tyson Foods poultry slaughterhouse where there have been confirmed cluster of coronavirus infections. So we'll watch a video and then we'll grab some precepts.
Don't know for sure yet that food can actually transmit the virus, so why is China halting these imports?
That's right. China, so far right now, the customs authorities said it will be seizing all products from this plant in Springdale, Arkansas, where Tyson is based, all products that are about to arrive in China or have already arrived. So this is after Tyson announced that 13% of its more than 3,700 workers tested positive for COVID at its facilities in northwest Arkansas. They did say that 95% of those who tested positive were asymptomatic. So this move is now a potential threat to exports from meat plants from around the world. Many of these plants have had to deal with disruptions as a result of the virus. In the U.S., hundreds of workers have become sick. Dozens have died. There's also been an uptick in infections at facilities in Brazil and Germany. And if China continues to suspend shipments based on COVID cases being reported, it could also undermine China's promised agricultural purchases as part of the Phase 1 trade deal with the U.S., which was already under pressure before this move from China. And as you mentioned earlier, Sherry, this decision is also a complete 180 from just a few days ago when Chinese officials said that food was unlikely to be responsible for causing the latest outbreak in Beijing. China's customs officials just a few days ago had said it is taking the advice of international organizations and said that there is a low risk of imported food transmitting the virus and that no food restrictions will be imposed. But just days later, we are seeing China, from the customs authorities, put on these restrictions from that Tyson food plant.
Yeah. So the food chain's broken, man. Halal YaHaWah BaHaSham YaHaWaShi. BaHaSham Qadash. But we're seeing the Most High YaHaWah BaHaSham YaHaWaShi shake things up. You know? First scripture. Ezekiel chapter 28. Verse 4 and 5. And it reads, with thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches, right? Who has gotten understanding and gotten these, whose wisdom and understanding has gotten them riches? Babylon the Great, America the Great, spiritual Babylon, spiritual Egypt, right? With their wisdom, their understanding, their technology, right? It's gotten them riches. And has gotten gold and silver into thy treasures, right? Gold and silver, you know, the Federal Reserve, right? Into thy treasures, the Federal Reserve, storage houses, right? They've banked. You know what I mean? Verse 5. by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic, right? Thy traffic, by thy great wisdom, their knowledge, their technology, their infrastructure, right? By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic, their traffic, their import-export operations, their trade, right? International trade, domestic trade, right? By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches. They've increased their riches by their wisdom, their tech, their infrastructure, and their trade, right? They've built up their riches. And thine heart is lifted up, heart being mind, right? Because of thy riches. So they're proud, they're puffed, they're puffed up, right? 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 And we're seeing, you know, this little news article, you know, their trade, their import exports, their exports. China cut them off, man. Said, yo, we don't want your poultry, we don't want your chicken. You know, get your act together. We don't want your chicken. Right? Right. The Most High YaHaWaShi YaHaWaShi is making moves on Babylon the Great. Right? And this is all prophecy. You know what I mean? It's all prophecy. Second Ezra, and what's to come is nothing but anguish, lamentations, right? Misery. Second Ezra 8 verse 50. Let's get it. In the Apocrypha. Second Ezra chapter 8 verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time, right? And we're in the latter time right now. So many great miseries are revealing itself, right? In the latter time, which is the time that we're in now. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, right? Dwelling in the world here on this planet, man, right? Because they have walked in great pride, right? Puffed up. We just said that. We just read that. You know, because of their great wisdom, right? Because of their great wisdom, because of their riches, right? Increased riches. That thine heart is lifted up. Their mind, their heart is lifted up, man. You know what I mean? And that's Babylon the Great for you, man. That's in the saying Isaiah 14. Let's get it. Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14 verse. Right. Isaiah 14 verse 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. Right? And this is Babylon the Great, man. They're puffed up, man. Right? They've said to themselves that they'll be greater than the Most High. Right? Above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend, verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High, right? So, you know, puffed up Babylon the Great, America the Great, puffed up, man. You know what I mean? And we're seeing them, you know, we're going to see them get brought lower and lower. You know what I mean? Ultimately, those ICBMs, right? Thermonuclears, lake of fire, along with the chariots of the Most High, YaHaWaShi YaHaWaShi, put an end to Babylon the Great, America the Great, man. You know what I mean? But nations have lived deliciously, right? And we're seeing, We're seeing nations, right now we're seeing nations say, you know what, we don't want nothing to do with none of your produce, right? And what you're going to see next is, what we're already seeing happening is nations leaving, other nations leaving Babylon the Great to go back where they came from, man, right? One, because there's no work. Two, because the situations are getting waxing worse and worse, right? With the rioting and the protesting, right? Revelation 18, verse 7. And it reads, how much she hath glorified herself, right? Babylon the Great glorified herself, puffed up, pomp, proud, right? And lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, right? The sorrow and the torment that the Most High YaHaWaShi is going to inflict on Babylon, it's going to be likened to it's going to be on par with how much they puffed themselves up, man, right? And glorified themselves, right? For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow, right? Been puffed up, right? Cream of the crop, right? I sit a queen, right? Nobody likened unto me, right? And shall see no sorrow, right? Right? Isn't there a saying out there? It was all good just a week ago, right? Isn't that a verse from Jay-Z and Jay-Z the rapper? It was all good just a week ago, right? Shall see no sorrow, right? Right? They feel untouchable, man. Babylon the Great, America the Great. You know what I mean? Verse 8, Revelation 18, verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, right? Those thermonuclears, those ICBMs, man, right? Us in this truth, call Allah, YaHaWah, BaHaSham, BaHaSham, Qadash, most High willing, we're of the elect, right? But we're here to prophesy the downfall of Babylon the Great, America the Great, man. You know what I mean? Read these prophecies and prophesy the downfall, man. Prophesy the destruction of Babylon the Great with those ICBMs, thermonuclears, YaHaWaShi and the angels and the chariots, right? Verse 8, once again, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, right? Death and mourning and famine. And with this cutoff of the poultry, man, you know, this is just, you know, a slow ramping up of the famine that's coming, man. You know what I mean? Revelation 18 and 8, once again. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, right? Those ICBMs. For strong is the Lord YaHaWah, BaHaSham YaHaWaShi, who judgeth her, right? And it's just judgment pouring forth from YaHaWah, BaHaSham YaHaWaShi. Judgments. You know what I mean? Right? Isaiah 47 verse 1. Right, we're just prophesying the downfall of Babylon the Great, America the Great. Isaiah 47 verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Right, virgin daughter of Babylon. The daughter of Babylon is America the Great. The whore that sit on the beast. Right? Sit on the ground, there is no throne. Right? Being brought low, sit on the ground, no throne. Right? You're being brought low, man. Your pomp is being broken. Right? O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Right? America the Great, they're losing their prestige. They're losing their prestige, man. Right? Their pomp, their pride, they're losing it. Right? That's why you see these Karens going off right now, regular on social media, getting blowed up with video cams and Snapchats. Right? They're losing it. Right? They don't know how to deal. Right? And it's just a reversal of the curses. Deuteronomy 30 verse 7. You know? As a matter of fact, let's get it. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7. And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, right? All these curses, right? Those curses listed in Deuteronomy 28, chapter 28, verse 15 on down, right? And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hurt thee, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee, right? And we know we know based on the scriptures, Psalms 83 tells us who our enemies are, man. You know, the nations of Edom, Ishmael, the Moabites, the Hagarenes, the Hittites, right? Psalms 83, chapter 83 lists our enemies, right? So this is just a reversal of the curses, right? Unto thy enemies which persecuted thee, man. Right? One more scripture. Jeremiah 50, verse 16. Right? And this and you know, we're seeing other nations leave Babylon the Great to go to their own people based on the climate of what's going on in America the Great. Jeremiah 50, verse 16. I'll close out with this one. Cut off the sower from Babylon, the sower, you know, the planter, right? The farmer, cut the supplier, right? The sower, the planter, cut off the sower from Babylon, right? America the Great, and him that handleth his sickle, right? Him that handleth his sickle, you know, agriculture, the farmer, right? In the time of harvest, right? The time to plant, the time of harvest, right? When it's time to reap, right? Cut them off. They're cut off, right? For fear of their pressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people. So the fear of oppression, right? Babylon the Great, and their red tape, right? And their oppression, right? The fear of their oppression is causing the fear of the climate of Babylon the Great, the protesting, the oppression is causing merchants, right, of the other nations to leave, right? For fear of the pressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people, and they shall flee everyone to his own land. So they're leaving, they're going back to their own land, they're going back to their own people, right? And the climate, the powder keg here in America the Great, Babylon the Great, the temperature is rising, man, right? It's getting hotter and hotter, right? And it's all prophecy. You know, us in this truth for prophesying the downfall of Babylon the Great, America the Great, spiritual Babylon, spiritual Egypt, you know, through the words and the spirit and power of YaHaWah, BaHaSham, YaHaWaShi. Right? But once again, I pray you're edified, man. Most High willing, you're edified. I mean, I just wanted to touch on that. Right? Halal, YaHaWah, BaHaSham, YaHaWaShi, BaHaSham, Qadash. Double honors once again to the apostles and elders, a great millstone to teach well and rule well. Peace and salutation to Aki and pushing his truth all over the earth. Kwame Asherala, Abad Babal.